Well, good morning. Today is Wednesday. It is May 13th. I hope your day is off to a great start. You found us here on the 13 News Now app or maybe on YouTube. However you found the Weather Desk, we're glad you're here as we stream a half an hour of weather information on today's top weather headlines. You'll find us here each and every weekday morning starting at 9. Let's talk about what we're going to get into today. I should introduce myself. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. If you're tuning in for the first time, we're broadcasting from Southeast Virginia, serving Hampton Roads in Northeast North Carolina. But with the Weather Desk, we talk about all kinds of weather topics, climate, science, space, information, sometimes lots of great stuff. Today, we're going to focus on the severe storms that hit Florida. We'll show you some of the rough weather they saw overnight. We'll talk about areas that are still seeing some rain this morning and some of the ongoing concerns. And then I'm going to have the severe storm outlook for today, tomorrow, and Friday. And we'll also talk a little bit more about the tropical outlook and when the National Hurricane Center will start their daily tropical outlooks. You know, the official start of the hurricane season is June 1. But the National Hurricane Center has started those daily tropical outlooks earlier because recent history has shown storms are starting to flare up a little bit earlier. So we're going to get into that. In addition, people are now displaced as wildfire continues to spread in Arizona. We'll have more on that story. And fighting fire with fire. It's a technique that's used to combat some of these wildfires as they're raging. We'll talk about how they set up, what they do, and how effective that is coming up in just a few moments. We're also going to talk about this story, and I love that the teen was a survivor of a lightning strike, but he's going to talk about his experience and really feeling like the luckiest person alive because they did survive that lightning strike. You'll hear more on that. That happened over the weekend, and summer-like days quickly approaching much of the eastern part of the country, but specifically Hampton Roads. We're going to focus on the outlook and the warmer days to come. So get ready for that. We need some more rain. That drought monitor comes in tomorrow morning. We'll have a lot on that tomorrow. But the dry conditions still really plaguing much of the eastern U.S. and the southeast. We certainly do need more rain. All right, let's start off, though, with a look at some of the severe weather that hit Florida. Right now, there's some scatter wet weather to the northwest. There's some unsettled weather up to the northeast, and we'll focus on these areas coming up. But down here across Florida, while much of the Sunshine State is catching a break, there's still some areas of wet weather down to the southeast of Tampa and St. Pete. You can see those areas. But this rain here kind of pulling offshore. There is one flood advisory, and I'll give you more on that in a moment. I want to show you the radar loop from yesterday. Look at these storms that came rolling in. These are some powerful storms, and there were numerous severe warnings that were issued late yesterday and last evening. So let's take a look at the severe storms that slammed Florida. This is a look at the conditions in the central part of the state from Hudson to Orlando. Again, this was late yesterday as several areas were placed under severe thunderstorm warning. You can see, again, the rain coming through, a lot of it. There were gusty winds. There were some different issuances with those severe thunderstorm warnings. Right now, the heavy rain continued for much of the day and overnight. Look at this. I mean, you can see basically you had some areas that were coming in, and basically this same area around St. Mary's, this is north of Jacksonville, they dealt with a prolonged period of moderate to heavy rain. So they continue at this moment. This is the latest radar image from this region, still under this flood advisory, and you can see it will run through at least 10 o'clock if they don't extend that. Right now, saying about another hour or so left on this one. About 42,500 people under it. Fernandina Beach, Kingsland, and St. Mary's. These are for Camden and Nassau counties. So flood advisory, the rain there continues to come down. And remember, southeast Georgia and back towards the panhandle of Florida, they've been in extreme drought, so to exceptional drought. They need the rain. This area right along the coast hasn't been in as bad a shape. They're technically abnormally dry, but the drought conditions continue inland. So this has been some of the parts of the country that have really needed the rain. We've also talked about the need for snow or now rain back across parts of Utah and Colorado. As we look at the severe weather outlook for today, few areas, this is just a level 1 or marginal threat from central New York State through much of Pennsylvania, all of West Virginia pretty much, and then the mountains here in Virginia. Down over Texas, a chance again marginal, that risk around the Panhandle. And then back out to the west from Salt Lake City up through Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana, you have a level 2 or slight risk for severe storms. Now, I want you to know right away as we take a look at the severe storm outlook for today that there isn't an elevated tornado threat. That's good news. Again, the main threats here are going to be just these areas where we could see some gusty winds, maybe some hail. And again, for Salt Lake City, areas up towards Bountiful, all the way up into Pocatello, Idaho, and areas off to the north. I think about Great Falls. Gorgeous, gorgeous country up there. They are outlook for that potential severe weather. But again, it's nothing tornadic. You don't see the Storm Prediction Center issuing any elevated tornado risks. That's good news. We do have the risks for high winds. That's the primary threat there around West Virginia into Pennsylvania. And then you see that kind of second tier elevated risk for some stronger winds with some of the storms likely there later on. And then when you take a look at the hail threat, not so much here, but there is the slightly elevated risk for hail in the Texas Panhandle and then northern West Virginia into the Pittsburgh area and western and central portions of Pennsylvania. That's what we're watching for today. For tomorrow, we've got this area highlighted, and this is the only part of the country highlighted for potential severe storms from Lubbock, Texas, back over through the Panhandles, again, most of Kansas, into Missouri and western Illinois. But this area here from Wichita north and back towards the Kansas City area, that's at level 2 or slight risk. And again, it's primarily stronger winds and large hail from this area, Kansas, back across Missouri. It does extend over to St. Louis. It includes Kansas City, Columbia, Jeff City, Kirksville, those areas into western Illinois. As we look ahead, for Friday, same area under the gun. So now we're starting to get a little more concerned when you've got the same area under severe potential outlook for severe potential. The next couple of days, you think, okay, they're not going to have a lot of time to recover. Maybe they get around tomorrow. Then on Friday, the same area generally concerned about that potential, especially the Kansas City metro area, St. Joseph, Missouri, back through central Missouri, even the Columbia area, areas out to the west of that. And then just north of Springfield and Joplin, they're not under it, but those areas off to the north, they are concerned. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about the different things going on around the country in terms of the wildfire. Before we get to that, I do want to let you know that we've got the tropical outlooks. They officially start May 15th. The good news, we don't have anything expected for the next 7 days. So nothing to worry about. But with that being said, starting Friday, each and every day, NOAA will start putting out their daily tropical outlooks, and we're getting to that point. So you're not even waiting until June 1 now, because we've had earlier than normal starts to the hurricane season in recent years. They've said, you know what, starting May 15th, we're going to do it. And May 15th is the start of the Pacific hurricane season. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, wildfires still burning in Florida and Arizona. A look at the progress crews are making putting them out. Welcome back. We continue to keep an eye to wildfires across the country, and crews in South Florida are making progress putting out the wildfires in Broward and Miami-Dade counties. This is a look at the Max Road fire, which has been burning through the Everglades since last Sunday. As of this morning, that fire has burned more than 11,000 acres, but is now 80% contained. So they continue to gain more control of that fire. The Forestry Service expects to have the fire fully out within the next few days, despite tough conditions.
We haven't had rain in quite a while, and coupled with those freezes that we had has made everything very receptive to fire and burning very hot. Everything burned out there.
The cause of the Everglades fire is still under investigation. In Arizona, more than 100 firefighters are still working to put out a brush fire near Wickenburg. So far, the Jones fire there has burned nearly 100 acres and just 10% contained, while some evacuated residents have since been allowed to return home. At least 25 people are staying at a Red Cross shelter after the flames destroyed nearly a dozen RVs. Firefighting planes have been deployed to help extinguish the fire. The fire also forced Arizona Department of Transportation to close Route 60 in both directions, but as of last night, most of the highway has reopened. All right, as we talk some more about fires, we're going to talk about a technique to fight those fires, talking about fighting fire with fire. They use everything they can to put out the flames. And again, that means sometimes setting fires to stop fires. Leah Pizzetti explains.
To fight fire with fire isn't just a catchy saying, it's a valuable tool. Say firefighters want to use this road as a line to contain the fire, but the fire's still burning far away. Rather than wait for the flames to come roaring over here, they can do a back burn. Specially trained fire crews light their own fire ahead of the main one, hoping to make this land burn on their own terms. If it goes to plan, when the main fire gets here, it won't have any fuel left to burn.
Coming up, a teen in Texas struck by lightning. He shares his story of survival after the break. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. You know, we have another beautiful day across Hampton Roads. We really haven't seen much rain in a while, aside from last Thursday when we got that 1 day that was so wet, about 1.5 inches of rain that day. And, you know, aside from that, there really hasn't been much lightning or electrical activity for us at all. That has not been the case for other parts of the country. Over the weekend, Texas was hit with some strong storms, and there's a 19-year-old Texas man calling himself the luckiest unlucky man alive after he survived getting struck by lightning over the weekend. Trey Sanchez reports from Jasper.
19-year-old Hunter White returned to Jasper County after a 10-hour stay at Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston. Lightning struck him while fishing along the Angelina River, leaving him with several wounds and burns on his body.
I'm glad I didn't go in the water. Like I said, I couldn't feel my legs when I come back to. I couldn't move my right foot. I could barely move my right leg. The strike went in kind of through my stomach around here and went all the way down through my leg and come back up through the top of my foot.
Hunter White says he was fishing with his mother the day before Mother's Day, leaning against this tree when lightning struck and blew him feet away.
Most of what I felt was wood and stuff all over me from this tree that exploded, which is what's all over my face. It's, you know, I've got little thorns and stuff still all in my skin, and they went deep.
White says several sharp pieces of wood narrowly missed him, leaving him feeling considerably lucky after the lightning strike.
I got lucky, none of them hit me. It went through me. But I got real lucky. I just got lucky. That's all there is. I'm probably the unluckiest lucky man alive.
White says he remembers blacking out just before the lightning strike made contact, landing him next to a nearby tree. He woke up to see his mom and others standing around him. She says it's a miracle her son is still alive.
I got to hug him and hold him because he was home already. So that was the best Mother's Day ever.
Hunter says the lightning destroyed his fishing rod and left him with a once-in-a-lifetime experience burned into his memory. But he returned to the same spot just 24 hours later to go fishing again.
Wow, what a story there. Again, you think about this with those tall objects like trees. A lot of times lightning will strike the tree. It can shatter or explode the tree like what happened down there with that man. Or sometimes it just runs down the tree, doesn't explode the tree, but can shoot off and hit people or other things around it. So it can really be dangerous. That's why the worst places to be in open fields on top of a hill or near tall isolated trees, also near water or metal, especially when you get right on the banks between the water and the land. There can be more issues there. So where should you go? Well, when thunder roars, head indoors. The best place is to be inside a sturdy building. That's the best place, but a car will also offer you protection if it has a metal roof and lightning strikes that roof. The charge is spread around the outside of the vehicle. As long as you're not touching the outside metal, you've got the windows rolled up and you've got your hands and arms kind of inside the car. That charge spreads around the vehicle, kind of like a Faraday cage, and people inside the car will be okay. All right, and remember, you can always gauge how far away a thunderstorm or a lightning strike is. When you see a flash, start counting, and you got to do it slowly because every 5 seconds means that that strike is 1 mile away. So if there's a flash and you start counting 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 5, 1 mile. You get to 10, it's 2 miles away. 15, 3 miles, you get it. So that gives you a sense for how far away it is. And if the lightning and the thunder is getting shorter and shorter between the two, that means it's getting closer to you. When there's a longer distance between the lightning and the thunder, it means that cell is moving away. All right, we're going to take another short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at a warming trend for Hampton Roads. Wait till you hear how hot it's going to get. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. We've got some warmer weather in the forecast for Hampton Roads. Yesterday, the high was 70. We're normally now to 77 for a high. So this is such a delightful time of year for Hampton Roads, and we're going to see temperatures pretty close to average today. I do want to mention again, dry yesterday, and we are sitting about 4.5 inches below average for the year. We need some rain. We're not going to see it during the day today. Mostly sunny. These highs again back close to average near 78. Winds south at about 5 to 15, gusting to 25 miles per hour. So that's today. Now later tonight, there is a chance for a few showers, and I'll show you that with the futurecast. Let's focus on temperatures. I mentioned the cool weather tomorrow. Well, today, temperatures close to average. It is going to cool tomorrow because that chance for showers tonight, that comes associated with a front that's going to come through. Wind shift, that cools temperatures a little bit tomorrow, but after that, we're back to average on Friday, and here's that run of summer-like weather. We've got 5 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're at least in the upper 80s, if not low 90s. It's going to feel very much like summer, and with a lot of sunshine, we are looking at a fantastic beach weekend. So really, really excited about this. Temperatures will be back closer to average as we get into the end of next week. But beyond this 10-day outlook, when you look at the 10 to 14-day outlook, we're going to see chances for showers maybe slightly greater than average or close to average here in the Mid-Atlantic. But when you focus on the heat, this is what's coming up through the end of May, at least the 27th or 28th. We're looking at above normal conditions for the southeast U.S. and the Mid-Atlantic. In fact, just about the entire country, you don't see anybody that's expecting below average temperatures. So the entire country is going to be warm as we go from the 21st through the 27th of May. And certainly here in the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast. That's a look at our temperatures. Get ready for the warm conditions. Now, I mentioned there are showers. They're light to moderate back across Oregon and parts of Washington State. Seattle, a little soggy right now. We've got some showers from Arizona into southern Utah. Again, some of this area really happy to have some of the wet weather. We'll update that drought monitor for you tomorrow morning right here from the Weather Desk. More showers really offshore, but we still have that flood advisory until 10 a.m. right there for St. Mary's, right along the Florida-Georgia state line, and then more showers off to the north. As we take a closer look at that, it's nothing severe, nothing real heavy right now, but we do have steady rains from Massachusetts and Connecticut up into southern parts of Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and then much of New York State, cutting back through Pennsylvania and into West Virginia. We are looking at a few heavier pockets. Note the winds coming up from the southwest. There's a warm front up there, but this is a cold front that is going to push through and cool us down. As we take a look again, couple frontal boundaries near the southeast coast. We're looking dry for now. We'll enjoy the sunshine today. A nice day with temperatures close to average, warmer than yesterday thanks to the southwest wind driving temperatures up a bit. We'll be in the lower to mid 70s around midday and then mid to upper 70s this afternoon. A few more clouds here and there. Notice some of the showers approaching from the northwest. I do expect some showers to impact northern parts of the area. Just doesn't look like a lot of rain for our area here officially at the airport. Some of the high-res models were only calling for 1/100 of an inch, maybe a couple hundredths. So more like a few passing light sprinkles south side, but a better chance for showers off to the north. And pretty much everybody could use some of that rain. You see at 5:30 in the morning, chances for showers here. By 6:30, 7 o'clock, we should be drying back out. Last of the showers kind of pushing off from the Outer Banks by, say, mid-morning. As we go through the day on Thursday, skies become partly cloudy and then more sunshine coming up on Friday. Grass pollen's moderate, tree pollen high today, and mold continues to be low. Plenty of sunshine from the Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview. Gorgeous view from the Jordan Bridge, checking out things on the Elizabeth River. Right now, south winds 9 miles per hour. We're 66 at the airport. UV index today, it is very high. It's an 8. That means about 15 to 20 minutes before a burn begins. You want to wear those sunglasses, sunscreen, and fine shade as you are able to. We also have a small craft advisory up for the Bay, so it's going to be a little breezy out there. Winds could gust up to 30 miles per hour for portions of the Chesapeake Bay. Let's get to the 7-day forecast. You can see the temperatures today, mid to upper 70s, lower 70s tomorrow. Low risk of a shower in the morning. I do expect a few showers overnight. Friday looks good, mostly sunny, back up to 75. And then temperatures are going to be much warmer through the weekend. 89 on Saturday, 90 on Sunday. Very low risk of a shower there. We'll continue in the low 90s Monday into Tuesday. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Weather Desk. Remember, we do it each and every day starting at 9. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.